YouTube, what the crap's going on? So I was sitting on Steam about to start recording some campaign, and got a chat message. I try and put as many of you on my friends list as I can. Steam limits my friends list, so if I haven't accepted your request, that's pretty much the reason why. I don't always get a chance to play challenges when people just want to play a game with me. So Desert Fox wanted a game here, and he's asked me before, and I never have gotten to it. It's like, hey, you know what? Heck, let's do it. So I told him if he wants to jump on, we can have a game. I picked Rome, and he picked the Boii. This ought to be a fun matchup. Boii actually have some pretty good troops. Interesting faction. They have Cav supremacy over Rome, I would say. Heavy horse are a great unit for the price. They are not going to have a skirmishing advantage, really, because of the Syrian archers for Rome and the Balearic slingers. And I'd say in an infantry fight, Rome's got more elite units, like cost-effective elite units. Whoops. But the Boii really have some good infantry units. And I expect this to be a very tough battle, especially since Desert Fox is a good player. So this ought to be a lot of fun. Ought to be a nice challenge, and I'll let you all see how this turns out. Right now I can see an Oath Sworn, and my army's all... Oh yeah, by the way, sorry, so my army's Primarian. Some of you all asked me for Primarian Rome, and that's what I've brought. So yes, I have Syrian archers. Some of you consider that not to be Primarian. I get it. But all my infantry is Primarian. My Cav is Primarian Equites. My Syrian archers are there, but I mean, it's not like Rome couldn't hire mercenary archers or auxiliary archers or something back then either, so I don't really see it as a big deal. I could have brought Velites, but you know, it's all good. So 4 Hastati, which are actually pretty cost-effective as well. Principes are an excellent unit for the price. Legionnaires, Legionaries, the cheapest ones, are actually a little bit cheaper than Principes, and it's actually a trade-off between armor and defense. Principes have a little more defense. The Legionaries have a little more armor. Anyway, I brought the Principes, and then I have 2 Triarii holding up my flanks. Triarii are an excellent spear unit. These guys have huge armor, huge defense, very good bonus versus Cav. This is one of the best spear units in the game, bar none. It's good. Now, okay, okay. Let me correct that. It is no match. I said spear unit, not a hoplite. So this thing is no match at all for like Royal Spartans. Look at that devastating volley there. Killed 17 sword followers. So Desert Fox is going to pull back. That's definitely what he should do. He had his own Celtic bowmen here that I didn't know he had originally because they were hidden. So now I'm going to target them with my Syrian archers. Both our men are having some cover in the scrub, and my guys are going to get the better of this engagement because Syrian archers have 40 armor, which is very substantial. They do not have the same attack and reload speed as Cretans. Cretans are better, but Syrian archers are an excellent archer unit. Any archer with that much armor is great because it means that other archers kill them more slowly. So seeing that I have a clear skirmish advantage, Desert Fox is going to be forced to attack. So I've got my Triarii lined up on the flanks to support my Equites, and my Equites are not bad cavalry. They're going to do alright. I put them into Flying Wedge to try and get a little bit better charge, since I expect the Barbarian Cav to have better charge. And then I'm going to use my Triarii to screen his Levy Freeman, and I'm going to immediately come over here, and I'm actually going to plow right into some of his infantry and pull through into his back lines once I knock them down. Otherwise, I'm just accepting his engagement along the front, which I hate to do, but I have to do. Because the charge of barbarian troops is pretty brutal. Yeah, see here how I plowed down his guys, and then I pull through before they're getting up so that I don't take losses. It's a little trick you can use if they're not braced. So now I'm into his backlines, and I can start threatening his archers. And then I just engage with my Hastati. Again, Hastati are a nice cost-effective unit. They're probably not going to beat any of his infantry, but they will put a decent fight in. And again, the whole time I'm just going to make sure I can protect my Syrian archers. I badly need them in order to win this fight. So I'm just going to pin his Cav down everywhere I can. And here I'm pinning his Levy Freeman with my Triarii and making him go all the way around with this one. And my Triarii will whip the snot out of Levy Freeman. But his cavalry is a serious threat to mine. And his infantry is a serious threat as well. These Oath Sworn are going to be brutal. They're going to really manhandle my Principes. And the Sword Followers, also a good unit. It's going to be a very close fight. Against the Hastati, no question, Sword Followers are going to pick that one up. And you can see that they're doing it here. And he's got his Oath Sworn on the flank. I'm trying to get some arrows into the flank of the Sword Followers. Not getting as many kills as I'd like, but I did finish off his bowman. And I can now bring in a rear charge with my Equites. Not going to be decisive, because it's a melee Cav rather than a shock Cav. I should have brought a shock Cav unit with me, but it would have been obvious what I was trying to do with the shock Cav. Yeah, so I already lose a Hastati over here, and this is bad, because now Desert Fox is going to start wrapping up my flank. But I'm doing alright on this flank. I actually beat down some of his Axe Warriors with my Principes pretty badly. They must have gotten a bad charge. Actually, it was 2-on-1. I got a Hastati and a Principe versus him. over here, my Hastati are losing this flank, but putting up a valiant fight. And then out here, my Triari beat down his Levy Freeman, and my cavalry is actually doing much better over here. Back here, my cavalry is going to be slowly losing to his, plus he's got Levy Freeman here, but my Triari are over here beating these guys as well. But now he's about to get reinforcements coming in the form of sword followers, so I'm going to have to turn around, and I'm going to have to charge the sword followers. I'll let the Levy Freeman stay in my back. I'm less worried about them than I am a sword follower. So I got my general, who's somewhat vulnerable, and I've got my archers that are also somewhat vulnerable. But right now, I'm not under threat of enemy cavalry. He hasn't been able to get to my back lines, but I have been able to get to his back lines. And my Equites here have a lot of kills, mostly on his bowmen, but I'm causing some morale issues for a few of his men and getting a few extra kills. But as you can see, it's a very close fight. Biggest things I have going for me right now, though, is that my archers are still very much alive, and I'm getting cavalry free. Again, I'm going to charge into these Axe Warriors, and then I'll pull out of that fight, and then cycle around for another charge, just to keep his Axe Warriors where they can't chase my archers. I'm about to lose this cavalry here, so he's about to break free with about 30 some odd heavy horse. But my main infantry center is doing alright. I managed to rout one of his units, but then he gets a sweet rear charge in with these sword followers. But then I've got a Principe wrapping around here for a rear charge on his Oathsworn, and then I've got 2 more Principes still alive here. This Hastati doing great, and again, my cavalry stopping his sword followers, or Axe Warriors, from getting to my archers. So my archers are still very much alive. But at this point, he does get some cav free. It's wavering, and I was like, it'll rout. But I'm already looking for ways to defend myself, so I'm going to have to pull this cav back in, and I'm going to try and take some shots real quick with my archers and see if I can kill it. But these 12 heavy horse are definitely a threat to my Syrian archers. I don't think they can kill all of them, but he can keep them busy where they can't assist in the fight. And right now, this fight's desperate. I'm getting rid of one of his Oathsworn here. I already used Loyalty of the 10th a little earlier. I should have saved it for later in the battle, but I used it a little too early. So in any case, I am doing my best here to fight off his men and free up my archers. So he gets a nice charge here with those 12 heavy horse. I have to use my general to stop him, but I am going to get the other 2 archers away to safety with relatively few losses. And then I have to charge this heavy cav as well to keep it from getting to my archers. So keeping my my cavalry alive until late game was critical here, because if my archers would have been gone right there, this fight would definitely be over. Because I mean, you can see it's still kind of an indecisive infantry fight. It could go either way here. My guys are great in these grind out battles, but his guys are going to deal out more weapon damage, and they've got pretty sturdy attack. And usually the barbarian units have very nice defense, which all these guys do. Although the Romans will have a little higher armor. But now, my Syrian archers are out here on the flank, and they're free to start taking action. You can see I'm going to line up some very nice rear shots on these Axe Warriors, and pretty much finish them off. This archer comes back from routing, so I can bring it in. And then my Triari have caught up with this heavy horse, and I can finish them off. My opponent does have 1 heavy horse left, but the archers are all the way on the other side of the battlefield, so it can't go threaten him, so he's going to pull around and try and do some rear charges. Which may make the difference, because as you can see, this Principe is actually wavering because I never did turn them around. So this is actually a flank charge. I never turned these Principes around. That was terrible. Yeah, my general's over here now. I can use him to help support this fight. Yeah, so we'll kind of see how that goes. But again, very close. But those Syrian archers wrapped up this fight, so now I've got a Hastati unit coming. But I just lost that Principe as well. But again, I've got targets coming in on these sword followers now. They have a little bit of scrub cover, so it'll help them, but they're still going to take losses to my Syrian archers. But you can see it does slow it. But, I mean, that wavering started. To use second wind of his Oathsworn, that's going to be brutal, because now it's late fight. These guys already have 2 chevrons, very tough unit. And you can see that they're just beasting away at my Principes, and then my general is engaged in mortal combat, basically, with this heavy horse, and he does get killed in this combat. So I lose my general late game. And it was right about this time that I start losing him, but Roman troops are disciplined. That's one of the advantages they have. So when the general dies, it doesn't necessarily have as big of effect on your men's morale. Look at these Triari out here beasting up. 146 kills on this one, and then 169 kills on this Triari. Then I got to rear charge my Equites into these sword followers who were finishing off my Triari, but now that's been stabilized. And at this point, the sword followers rout. The heavy horse starts to waver. And the only unit that my opponent has left, basically, at this point, other than some Levy Freeman there, is his Oathsworn General, who has 256 kills, man. This guy means business. So yeah, anyway, this Oathsworn's going to get charged by my Hastati and other stuff, and then I have one last little trick up my sleeve. I was almost out of ammo. The Oathsworn was wavering, so So I start pouring in archer fire, and I'm going to go ahead and switch my archers over to flaming shot, and basically finish off this wavering Oathsworn for the win, and that was what did it right there, and his men routed. So very, very close fight. Great game to Desert Fox. It was a lot of fun. So his army was a little smaller than mine. I managed to get some more kills, but if you take a look there, it was definitely a close one. The Syrian archers clutched it out for me, definitely. That's kind of to be expected. The Boii have some units that are very good off the charge, and so early on he was definitely winning the killing fight. But my Equites had some upgrades. They're not as weak as someone might think. They're not good, but they're not super weak, and I had numbers with cavalry, so it was hard for him to pin my cav down. So slipping through to his backlines early on and getting his archers was a nice way to make sure that they couldn't affect the battle. And then just getting a few rear charges here and there. Again, none of them were decisive in the sense that it completely knocked his unit out of the fight, but just going to help slowly wear him down and keep the fight going longer and longer until my Syrian archers and other units were able to come and be of effect. But great fight. It's interesting. So barbarian factions against that type of Roman army, still viable. And against any type of Roman army, I think they're still viable, especially now that they have a cav supremacy. I think the biggest challenges you're going to have as a barbarian against Rome is that for the most part, Rome's got a better skirmishing contingent because of the Syrian archers and Balearic slingers. So you're going to have to be careful of them in that. They can bring elephants too, but elephants are a lot more easy to stop than they used to be, so I wouldn't say they're a massive threat. But yeah, anyway, hope you all enjoyed this one. So there you go. You got RDAI, you got Primarian Rome, and I'll be bringing you more of what you're looking for. So leave some comments. Tell me what it is you want to see in multiplayer, and I'll read the comments each time and do my best to bring you what you want. HeirofCarthage signing off for now.